These books are going to change your life, y'all. These books, if you have not read these books already, they are going to change your life. I've read many of these books multiple times, and I thought it was only right to give my subscribers, especially some of my new subscribers that are a little bit new to spirituality, I thought it was only right that I share with you what has really helped me, not only to this day, but especially at the beginning of my journey. So I want to give you guys my top 5. I was going to do 3, but I thought 5 spiritual books would be great for you. And it's funny because these books are kind of close to the order that I read them in, but I want to actually tell you that you should read them actually too in this order from top to bottom. And as I go down the list, I will be giving these books to you in a way that I want you to read this one first, the second one second, the third one third, just because I really think that some of these books at the top here give you a good foundation. So when you get to some of these lower books, you kind of already have a good idea on what spirituality is to you. So anyways, guys, I just got off the treadmill. I just actually started, I'm gonna do another series on my channel, 60 days, and I'm probably, you know what, whatever, 60 days, just pretty much the end of this year, I'm gonna be doing a little fit, health, and nutrition, kind of a little game plan. So get ready for some content on that. But without further ado, before we get into these books, for those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Michael Young, also known as Forever Young. I thank you for joining us today. Consider subscribing if you like the energy and if you find that you get some helpful information on this content. Like this video also if you think that you got some helpful information on this video and it helps the video grow. Comment if you have any questions, concerns, and the last but not least, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload a video. So I have my iPad here, so I don't want you guys to think that I'm distracted. I want to make sure, again, as these videos start to come out, I really give you guys actual, just some substance, okay? I don't want to come on here and just spitball. So without further ado, let's keep this video around 10, 12 minutes. The first book, it doesn't have the little plastic covering over it, but this book is The Secret. I don't know why people do this. I think it's to focus the camera. So The Secret, this book is by Rhonda Burns, I believe. Rhonda Burns' book is about 200 pages, but it's a small book. I believe that this book is great just because, especially for somebody that is new to spirituality, it's not a huge book, right? It's a smaller book. So some of you that don't like to read, as myself, I'm not a, you won't see my head in a book 24/7, right? I'm more of a physical, I like to experience, but trust me, in the mornings, and certain points of my day, I do like to read, especially nowadays. So this isn't as intimidating, because I know sometimes we get intimidated on the size of the book. So this isn't as intimidating. A couple things that I want to share with you that this book portrays. Of course, it embodies spirituality in its entirety. It gives you pretty much just the guidelines. There's a whole bunch of my favorite authors. I thought the air was on or the heating was on. There's a whole bunch of my favorite authors in there, but one I'm going to give you right now is Abraham Hicks, or also known as Esther and Jerry Hicks, and we'll get to one of her books in a moment here. But the big takeaways in this book: thoughts become things. Exactly what you think about is what you're going to manifest. A lot of this is what you're going to hear us talk about in our previous videos. I don't think I said that right, but like attracts like, okay? So whatever, like, what that means is whatever I'm thinking about is what I'm going to attract, okay? Whatever I'm thinking about is what I'm going to attract, okay? Mindset is everything, and focus on feeling good. So these are some of the criterias that this book hits. And actually, I'll finish up here. The universe is abundant. We are creators of our destiny. So these are things that you really want to understand, especially as you start to embark on your spiritual journey, just because it's important to get your foundation, especially a strong, secure foundation, because we all know when we're building a skyscraper, the foundation is the most important. And you know, we're going to build skyscrapers when we're talking about ourselves. So check it out. That's the first book. Great book. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This was a great book. Shout out to Rhonda Burns, Rhonda Bynes. My second book, okay, This book is also, it's great because this is what I want you to read second after The Secret. This is 100 pages, a little over 100 pages, so it gives you kind of a, just a breather, so to speak, after you finish The Secret. So this book is great. It's by Deepak Chopra. He's very popular, especially in the Western spirituality and of course in the Eastern spirituality. But again, this book is 100 pages. This book is great just because it gives you a clear and concise and precise understanding on the 7 spiritual laws of success. So the 7 spiritual laws of success, I know that sounds kind of dreamy, but it's actually just as real as gravity, right? Because gravity, just as these 7 spiritual laws of success, you cannot see. So this book is great, again, to kind of really hit home some of those topics and some of those subjects that spirituality is really based around. So getting to some of the notes, like I said, the 7 spiritual laws are like gravity, right? Law of attraction is like gravity, like attracts like. One big thing that it talks about here is the law of dharma, which dharma is another word. It's actually an Indian word or an Eastern word. Excuse me, I sound very, very, very. It's an Indian word. Excuse me. I don't know what specific language it is, but dharma refers to your life purpose. So it teaches you about how the 7 spiritual laws of spirituality, the dharma, you actually is something that is already a part of your life, is already in you. And when you understand the 7 spiritual laws of life, which dharma being the last on that book, the last chapter, then you really get a sense of what your purpose is and why you're here and what you're here to do with your purpose. So glad we got through that. Another thing it talks about is karma. Karma's great. What goes around comes around is pretty much what karma is. And it touches on karma more than The Secret does. The Secret also touches on karma, but this gives you, again, just a short, clear, and concise description on that topic. So, again, great book. Anything else that I need to... Oh, and actually, there is an insert that I want to read, and it is a chapter in this book. It is the Law of Intention and Desire, and it is on page 79. We're going to do this video without any edits because we got work. So check this out. I wanted to read this just because I thought it was something that you guys can take and you guys may be like, oh, this book is great. Okay, applying the law of intention and desire. Okay, again, the 7 spiritual laws of success, Deepak Chopra. Okay, and please don't make fun of me about my reading. Actually, my reading has been been actually getting really good. I will put the law of intention and desire into effect by making a commitment to take the following steps. Okay, and there's just 2 steps right here. There's actually 3 steps. I'm just going to read you 2. Okay, I will make a list of all my desires. We talked about scripting. I will carry this list with me wherever I go. I will look at this list before I go into my silence and meditation. I will look at it before I go to sleep at night. I will look at it when I wake up every morning. Okay, that's you right there setting an intention and creating that non-physical world and bringing it into your physical world, right? So the second insert, I will release this list of my dreams and surrender to the womb of creation. When I read that part, that's what made me want to read this to you guys. I'm going to say it again. I will release this list of my dreams and surrender to the womb of creation, okay? Trusting that when things don't seem to go my way, there is a reason, and that the cosmic plan has a design for me much grander than even those that I have conceived, right? So that just gives you a little bit of the essence of what this book talks about. It's very punctual. It's not putting a whole bunch of extra jargon into the chapters. It's very punctual, gets right to the point. 7 spiritual laws of success, Deepak. You're killing it, man. You're killing it, right? So now it's changing gears. We're going to get into fiction now. All these books are nonfiction, right? It's more of a spiritual science. Now we're changing gears. This is one of my all-time favorite, besides Holes and Because of Winn-Dixie. I don't know why, Because of Winn-Dixie. But this is one of my favorite fiction books, The Alchemist, okay? And it's by, I'm going to butcher the name, Paulo Coelho. I butcher the name. This book is fantastic. It's a fiction book, and basically the premise takes place in, I think, in Africa, around Egypt, around India, in the eastern part of the world. And it's about a young man who is a sheep herder. And basically he kind of gets sick of being a sheep herder, and his dad and his family wanted him to become, you know, a doctor or, you know, to continue being a great sheep herder. And long story short, basically what he did was he decided to choose his own path and choose what he really thought was important to him. And he didn't really know what was important to him. So this book, he goes on a journey across half the world to go find what they call in this book his personal legend, which is his dharma in the 7 spiritual laws of success, which is his purpose. So he goes and he goes through all of these thousands of miles, and he finally gets to where he is told his personal legend is going to be, again, in other words, his purpose. And when he gets there, he figures out that his purpose was with him from day one. And what you really take away from this book is not only that you have your purpose, you have everything you need in you already, but the journey of life teaches you that you are more than what you think you are. So when you pay attention to the journey and you pay attention to the omens, which they talk about omens, which people call coincidences, you pay attention to these omens and these coincidences or synchronicities, then your life really starts to lead you to not only your personal legend, but to your greatest and richest dreams you've ever imagined. So really, really, really good book. This is about 200 pages. Like I said, I really, really like this book. I highly recommend it. I would read this third out of the 5 books. Now, getting to my favorite book, okay, this is the 4th book. I'm reading it currently right now. I've read it about 2.5 times just because I read it once and then I would just read it again by jumping around chapters, and then I'm reading it now again for the 2nd time entirely through. Ask and it is given. Now, the title itself was very appealing to me, but I read this book and I knew that this was supposed to be in my life. I knew that this book was supposed to be in my experience, and whenever anybody asks me about a spiritual book or asks me a great book to read that is really helpful, this is the #1 book I will recommend to you. It seems very big, but it is not. The way that the book is manufactured, it is a very seamless read. The author, Abraham Hicks, also known as Esther Hicks, also Jerry Hicks being her husband, who is deceased. Rest in heaven, brother. This book is great, and let me get to, I didn't even put down any notes. This takes The Secret, this takes the 7 spiritual laws of success, and a little bit also of The Alchemist, and it blends it all together into something that is almost alphabetical when you talk about learning, right? It's very, very clear. It's the sentences are very easy to read. The message is very, very bright. And another part of this book is that it gives you, there's 2 parts. There's the literature, which is 22 chapters, and then there is the part 2, which are processes. Now, these processes are great just because they give you these processes are supposed to be used when you are feeling a certain type of way. So for example, if I'm feeling depressed, then out of the 22 processes that are in the book, I can find a process that will help me get through or understand my depression. Or in other words, or for another example, if I'm happy and joyful, then it will give me a process for my happy and joyful, so I can use that to my advantage, or I can understand what that energy might be here for. So again, this is 10 out of 10 stars, 20 out of 20 stars. Asking and is given. Again, it just gives you the secret and the 7 spiritual laws of success kind of tied up in a bow right here. Phenomenal book. Highly recommend. I would read this fourth, but this is the only book I would say you can just get this by itself, okay? So last but not least, guys, getting through it, man. Getting through. I'm very happy that we are getting this type of content on here, because this is the content that's valuable, not the fear mongering, not talking about days that aren't even here. The future isn't given. We only have now. Bringing us to Playing the Matrix by Mike Dooley. I don't have a lot to say about this book. First off, I just like, and sometimes this is what it is for me. I just like how the book looks. I feel like we live in a matrix. I love the movie The Matrix. Get ready for a spiritual movies review. I got some spiritual movies that I want to share with you guys as well. Great book, great author. Mike Dooley is also in The Secret, as well as Abraham and Esther Hicks. The biggest thing about this book, it teaches you how to play the game. Again, the Matrix is this world, this manufactured world that we live in, and it is a game. It is a video game. So the biggest thing is this chart right here on the back. And now this chart here, you see the colors right here, and I'm just gonna kind of give you, I think you can see it here. This side here is what you want to focus on. These things here are what you want to detach from, okay? So you can imagine that the green and the green side is going to focus on unconditional things like nature, like family. What else do they have on here? Happiness right here is the highest and most powerful thing that you want to attach to on the Matrix. Gratitude, spirituality, confidence, creativity. Some of the things that you don't want to attach to, that you want to stay away from, or you want to notice that, hey, I'm attaching to too much, are possessions, right? Material items, career, work, right? Projects, events, diet, right? People, okay? Stock, plans, okay? So this book is great for you to understand how to play this game, and this is why this is the 5th book, because once you read the previous 4 books, I would imagine, at least for myself, I know I had a good foundation to start really creating deliberately in my world, right? And this book right here really ties everything all together, because it gives you, again, this little chart here is pretty much what this book is about, and it gives you, with already knowing what you know, it gives you almost like a test, and just gives you little skills, right, that you can use. So when you go out into this world, you not only know your spirituality from these last 4 books, but now you know what to attach to, and now you know what to look out for and not to get too carried away with, okay? So again, Playing the Matrix by Mike Dooley, great book. You know, honestly, it wasn't like, oh my God, but again, I liked this book for this purpose right here, and I liked the Matrix part. And it does have some very good criteria in there, but again, I would get this, again, 5th. I would read this 5th, okay? So that's it, guys. Subscribe, like the video if you guys got any kind of value out of this video. Like, comment down below what's your favorite book. Actually, comment down below what books you've maybe read that I haven't read before. I got a couple more over here, but I just didn't. Some of them I haven't read in a while, so I didn't feel comfortable coming on here and saying, hey, read A Brave New World by Eckhart Tolle, which I highly recommend. I read that book. That was like a 300-page book. I got so lost in that book because I was training for a physique competition. I read it so fast, and it was like the longest, biggest book that I've read and the quickest that I read. So I have to go back and reread that book, but I just remember resonating with almost each and every page, because it talks about the ego a lot, and it talks about how we're not supposed to fear the ego We're supposed to understand the ego. Anyways, that's for another video. I appreciate you guys. I hope this helped. I trust that this helped not just one, but many of you. Get these books, Amazon, go to your local thrift stores, bookstores. You'll be surprised what you find. Again, subscribe, like, comment. If you have any questions, hit the notification bell. I appreciate you guys. Channel's growing. I hope you guys have been doing well during these times. I hope you guys have just been enjoying your life, taking care of not only yourself, but your mind, connecting to your inner being, connecting to the universe, and then choosing, and then sifting and sorting, and then playing. Not doing it backwards, okay? We're not looking for the carrot that's in front of us. We're finding the carrot that's within us, because you got a heart full of gold, and so do I. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.